Now to Denver, Colorado, and a neighborly good deed that doesn't turn out how it's supposed to. It all starts in this alley in the city's arts district. A battered SUV pulls up, and the driver loads a length of scrap metal into her truck. But look closely. Something in that garage has caught her eye. She takes off, but a little later, she's back, this time on foot. And guess where she's headed? Straight for this mountain bike. Now, this could be the end of the story, but it's not. In fact, it's only the beginning for neighbor Josh Berman, whose office backs onto this alleyway.
I was on my way back to the office after lunch, and as I'm pulling into my office parking lot, I see a woman carrying 2 large mountain bike wheels out of the parking lot. It raised some red flags. It didn't look like they belonged to her, and I couldn't imagine why she would be walking out of our parking lot with these wheels. So I stopped her and I asked her if I could help her, and she looked at me, kind of got angry and said, "No, I'm just trying to get out of the parking lot." And she kind of brushes by me and starts walking down the sidewalk.
Josh doesn't know it yet, but he has just met the bike thief. And her getaway is not going to plan. The bike has 2 flats, so she's now having to haul it to her SUV piece by piece. And boy, is she pissed.
As I'm getting my phone out to start shooting her, she turns around and swings a bike wheel and actually hits me in the chest. And she's yelling and screaming. I mean, at that point, I'd kind of had enough and turned around and decided to get on with my day. And as I was walking back on the sidewalk towards my office, I actually saw a mountain bike upside down in the right-of-way in front of the office. I went up to it and could tell very quickly that it was a very expensive mountain bike, and probably the exact same mountain bike that she had just removed these wheels off of.
Josh suspects the bike is stolen, probably from a neighbor.
So I've been involved in biking my entire life. The bike was a late model Santa Cruz carbon fiber frame mountain bike, which, I mean, those are not cheap bikes. They can run anywhere from $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 and up. It's definitely the kind of bike that, nobody would probably be riding, on the streets of Denver. So I picked it up and I started walking back to my office. And as I'm rounding the corner from the sidewalk into the parking lot, catch out of the corner of my eye something coming at me, pulling into the parking lot at a super high rate of speed. I jump out of the way at the last second just as she actually is hitting me and kind of smashes me up against a car in the parking lot. And I mean, I immediately kind of in shock. I'm trying to figure out, am I injured? The bike is lying on the ground, and she gets out of the car and starts screaming and yelling.
This is not your bike! What are you doing? Yo! You're a thief, dude! What is wrong with you?
Calling me a thief, saying I've stolen her bike, and just kind of out of her mind with a super crazed look in her eye. And at that point, I realized that she was willing to run me over, kill me to get this bike. So I leave the bike and I ran into my office and started shouting to my coworkers to call 911.
Josh then quickly returns to the parking lot, determined to capture the thief on his cell phone camera.
We walked back just to see her pulling out of the parking lot, and at that point I got my phone out again. And I mean, you literally see scrap metal falling out of the back of this dilapidated Bronco with no plates, and she's still screaming and yelling while she's driving down the street. I mean, at that point, I kind of just considered myself lucky that I wasn't more seriously injured, and went into the office where we started looking at the security cams and saw that it was indeed our neighbor's bike that had been stolen from the alley. We went over to the neighbor's house and knocked on the door just as he was coming home, and I got to break the bad news to him that unfortunately his bike had been stolen, and showed him the footage.
Josh and his neighbor Sean, who owns the bike, have both filed complaints with the Denver police, but so far, no arrests have been made.
Law enforcement, I feel like nationwide, is not prioritizing bike theft. And obviously there are a lot of bigger and more important issues that we're all dealing with. But at the same time, people have taken it for granted that Denver is a relatively safe city, and they let their guard down. And I mean, it's a problem.
Denver police suggest locking bikes, even in a locked garage, and taking a selfie next to the serial number to help officers reunite a stolen cycle with its owner.